Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Windham with the Department of Entomology and Plant Pathology. I'm at the Plateau Research and Education Center, and we're going to be talking about how to care for your roses in late summer and fall. Your roses probably are not looking as well as they did in May and early June, because roses usually start to decline some in the heat of summer. And this has been a very hot summer. But as the temperatures cool in late August and in September and early October, we're going to get another flush of roses. So what are some of the things that we can do to maximize our rose appearance in the fall? Well, the first thing that you need to do, if you have not been doing regular deadheading, this is a good time to get into your rose garden and cut the old flowers off. Because if you cut the old flower buds off and any hips, that's where the seeds are being produced off, you're going to get another flush of roses in early to mid-October. So this is a great time to go in and cut that type of material off. In addition to that, you may want to look to see if you have some serious disease problems. If you haven't been spraying, you may be having issues with black spot, Cercospora leaf spot, and you could even have some problems with rose rosette. But rose rosette is something that's easily to recognize, and if you see rose rosette, which is this profusion of shoots, thickened stems, you just want to dig the bush up and get rid of it. But with the other disease issues and insect issues, we can manage those. So what can we do? The first disease that we want to talk about is black spot. At this time of year, black spot probably has been active in your garden most of the summer, especially if you have not sprayed. And what you will have are green sticks instead of canes or limbs that have leaves on them, and you'll just have leaves out at the tip. Now this is a very common symptom of black spot. Now if you get closer and you look at the leaves, you're going to see spots that can be small, or they can be as big or bigger than a pencil eraser in diameter. And the way that you can tell that it's black spot is that you look at the edge of the lesion. The edge of the lesion will not have a straight border. It will appear to just feather out into the leaf. If you see spots that have the edges that just seem to smoke or feather out into the leaf, this is black spot. Now we can control this with fungicides, but many people don't want to. And one of the ways to get away from using fungicides so often is to prune your roses during the summer so that you have good air movement. Now if you are having to irrigate your roses, you never want to irrigate early in the morning or late in the evening, because this will promote the leaves from drying. They'll get wet quicker in the evening, and they will stay wetter after dew falls in the morning. So if we want to water and we're worried about black spot, we're going to water it during the midday, would be the most optimum time to water. Another common disease of roses is Cercospora leaf spot. And Cercospora leaf spot is going to cause spots on the leaves. You may lose some leaves, but you're not going to have denuded bushes like what you do with black spot. And the spots that come with Cercospora leaf spot have a very discreet reddish maroon to purple border. And it does not feather out into the leaf like black spot. Now black spot and Cercospora leaf spot can be controlled with the very same fungicides. Cercospora leaf spot is only going to form during the heat of summer. It likes it really, really hot. And once again, if we have a lot of heat and we have a lot of rain, you can expect Cercospora leaf spot to be really bad. So what are you going to do? Well, I would just cut it off and cut sprigs like this off, throw them on your compost pile, get them away from where your roses are at. And you'll get new shoots coming. If you do this in mid to late August, early September, you should have great looking roses before killing frosts come. Next thing that we're going to talk about is Japanese beetles. Now, I don't have a beetle with you because they don't want to cooperate and stand still. But I have Japanese beetle damage to the foliage here, and it'll just eat all the leaves away and leave the veins behind. They'll also chew up the flowers. So what can we do about Japanese beetles? Well, there's a misnomer that one Japanese beetle attracts more Japanese beetles. They do have pheromones, but they really don't have attracted pheromones that are going to attract one beetle to another from long distances. But what they are attracted by is the volatiles that are released by the injured plants while they are feeding on them. So we want to try to minimize the amount of feeding when they first show up. Now, one of the things you never want to use is one of those Japanese beetle traps that you can buy at box stores or things like that, because that'll just attract more beetles too where you're trying to keep them away from. What you want to do is get you a small paint bucket or some type of small jar that has a wide mouth, and you want to put the jar right underneath the leaf where the Japanese beetles are feeding when they're first showing up. And you put the jar underneath with one hand, and then with your other hand you just tap where the beetle is. The beetles never fly out like this. They're going to drop several inches before they start to fly. And they will drop into that bucket that is containing about 2 inches of water. You don't want it to be too heavy. And with a squirt of any type of dishwashing soap or liquid soap, that will break surface tension. And the beetles will fall in that water. They can't swim because there's no surface tension, and they will sink to the bottom and drown. Now, if you do that when the beetles first show up, there will be no reason for other beetles to come to your plants. So, you want beautiful roses in the fall like what you had around Mother's Day to late May? Easy to do. Remember the deadhead. Cut out serious disease problems. And if you're doing this before Labor Day, throw a little Miracle Grow or liquid fertilizer, about 1 tablespoon per gallon of water around each bush. And that will guarantee you a good fall flush of growth. Do not add fertilizer in October because we want the plants to be going dormant. Now, if you want more information or you want to learn more about what's going on at the Plateau Research and Education Center, please visit their website or Facebook page and just type in Plateau Research and Education Center, either in the search box of Google or into Facebook, and it will take you, and you can learn all kind of things that are going on at the station.